Hey, what's up? This is Stretch with the Red Pill Kingdom.
Lunchbox.
Arms, you in there too?
I'm in here.
All right, we got Arms with the white hat, styling as always. We are here.
Whoa.
We're here because we each see uh, some problems going on right now that aren't being talked about. Sometimes things are being talked about, but in a pretty deceitful way. Um, the media is not presenting us with the truth about the world around us. So we're here to have an interactive talk show to try to get to the bottom of some of these things and try to bring ourselves back to the country that we would all like to see it become. So, what do you guys have on your mind, Lunchbox and Arms?
Why does it say Ross Wonderwhite, man?
I don't know. Why'd you just say your full name on air?
Well, still though, man. Why does it say that shit?
Lunchbox Nation?
Yeah, I'm still working
I
out
think
King Show. Go ahead.
I think all of them. If you take into consideration all the biased media, you can paint a semi-reliable picture. Okay, you know something's going on, right? Granted, somebody got shot, a cop pulled the trigger, whatever. You know, we know that. Now, who's guilty can be determined by all the biased media. That's one's defending the cop, one's defending the unarmed person. You know, but the fact is, something happened that the cop shot him. We don't know if it was why, but the fact that over the years it's been bad and the media just keeps changing because shit 20 years ago they were not as biased as they are now. They went in there, they did sting operations and set people up for 9 months gathering data, and now it's any jerk off with a podcast can spread news across newspapers
And here
or
we are.
social media. Here we are. Yes, but we're not going full on news and pretending that we're journalists.
Right,
You
right.
know, there is a journalistic integrity that has been stripped away slowly.
So I think with the media too, yeah, like when
Dollar
you look.
dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah.
Dollar
Oh yeah.
bills,
Yeah, you're
y'all.
right. You're right. Follow the money. But and it also doesn't help that all the media news outlets are owned by just a very few companies.
Six
Um,
companies.
yeah, yeah. So, but when it comes to the media, like if you're talking about like a homicide, yeah, there's only so much information there. But when when you're looking at the bigger issues in society, uh, I would say even if you're watching uh, the the major American news networks, Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, and so on. Even if you watch all of the reports for the same issue, you're probably still going to be in the dark because I think, just like the Republicans, the Democrats, they're really all pretty much representing the same thing. And like, oftentimes, what's more important isn't what is reported, but what's not reported. There will be. I mean, we all know this. They're talking about um, the Kardashians and Britney Spears' vagina instead of talking about things that we should really be talking about. I mean that's the wool being pulled over our eyes. I mean in my opinion, the way I see it, like that's deliberate. They're not trying to they're trying to uneducate us, not educate us. Does that make sense? Ross, are you there?
You guys stop talking.
Hey, are you there?
Who all stopped talking? Is
Uh,
Jake still talking?
No, I think Jake's out. Can you hear me?
He's like froze, man.
Yeah. So let's keep going. Though. I like your beard.
Yeah.
Your
Okay.
shades match your halo quite well.
I'm still messing around with everything and figuring it out, man. I figured this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
You know. I know you got it on a deep level there.
No, that's all right, man. So what do you get from the news nowadays?
I don't, dude. It depresses the shit out of me. Did you hear that?
Is that a real noise?
That was me, dude. I did that. Awesome.
Nice. Oh, is that the applause?
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. We're finding cool stuff. Backgrounds. What's this? Okay. Are you talking about like today's state of affair?
Well, we were talking a little bit about I mean, I was talking a little bit about how the news will often excuse me, do with things that matter for anything, while the things that you should be hearing about is just kind of left unmentioned, and hopefully, you know, in their hopes, it just passes you by entirely.
Dude, I mean, it's really easy to like I was saying, money. It goes to the money. You follow the money. Big business runs all that.
Mm-hmm.
All that. You know what I'm saying?
Well placed graphic there.
No, but that's really what it comes down to, man. It follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the money all the time. Always goes back to it. What is this shit? But the problem is where do people draw the line and say I don't want that kind of info anymore? And I think it's happening a lot more than it used to.
I think it is. I think the internet has helped us out with that. Social media has given people the chance to see that, you know, they're not crazy in thinking that their government and their media might not be working in their best interest. Welcome back, Jake.
So,
Sup?
But
Just sitting there smoking my Cubans.
the Cheech. So that's one. That's
Forget
one.
about it.
One goal that I'd like to see come from this is, you know, to help people realize that, you know, there is something that can be done. You know, if enough people are talking about this, and if there's
really,
more people that start this, you know.
But what really can be done? I mean, what really can be done? I mean, think about it. Like, if you really break it down, it feels like a 90-degree hill, just climbing. You're never gonna make it. You know what I mean?
Norway has the freest press in the world.
Okay.
Right? So follow the places of work. That's why everybody followed America, and now they surpassed us because they kept going instead of backtracking.
Why? How is Norway's press free? Like who's
Right. I don't know. It's just one of the. If you look at the list of the freest presses in the world,
okay,
like Northern Europe, like they can say anything. Don't get me wrong. We have some pretty free press, but it's just bought out.
Yeah, the sampling that we're provided through the
It's
Idiot
shit.
Box.
But we have, in theory, the freedom of press. They can say anything they want.
Yeah, anybody can get on there and say anything they want, but the, you know, quote unquote official version that we get is, you know, paid for and prepared for us.
Yeah.
It's like a hot dog, you know. It's just over
look
processed
at
to
it
the point where
even
there's
with
nothing
that
left.
when the Malaysian airplane went missing, right? Like 7 days, that 24-hour coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a hell of a lot more important stuff going on than a missing airplane.
Right.
You know? Like the world did not stop. I mean, even now we don't. What's been even going on with our government is like shut down because of the whole Hillary Trump crap,
Right.
you know. So now they have no idea what's going on, and they're all running around, not doing government things.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's got to change.
You know, I get the best perspective sometimes from reading international news about America, or like
Yeah.
news about what's going on in America from other countries. Now I understand they're going to have their own biases and so on. Like, but for instance, the Russian Times, they kind of, they don't really
Cares.
pull
It
the
doesn't
punches
affect
that
them.
we get here.
Yeah.
What's that?
It doesn't really affect them firsthand, so they're not as biased.
Right.
They're not selling an agenda. They're posting. It's almost like our comedy news. That's why everybody liked Jon Stewart. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Like one of the coolest quotes from that movie V for Vendetta is that politicians use lies to cover up the truth, while comedians use lies to tell the
Tell
truth. Something like that. Tell
yes.
jokes to tell
No.
the truth, or something like that.
Use truths to tell jokes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So speaking of the international news,
Well, I wouldn't believe like North Korea's news.
no.
You know,
Well, I would.
everything is weighed in.
Yeah, I
you
would
know?
weigh anything, but yeah, it'd be suspect.
You look at the country that is going to be affected by us the most, and they may have an agenda.
Right.
But that's why the more news, that's why the internet's great, is you can find out the best information by looking everywhere,
Right.
you know, and compiling it.
Here's a link that I'm posting now, showing how it's basically. I just went back and I followed this through the news for the last few years. That ISIS has basically been fighting with American weapons for the last few years, and the way that this happens is because we train the Iraqi army, we gave them all types of weapons, and we said, okay, here, now do a good job, and then ISIS attacked Iraq, the soldiers fled, all of a sudden ISIS takes over, and now they have like thousands of Humvees with Abrams tanks and rocket launchers and machine guns, like hundreds of thousands of rounds of munitions. And then this keeps happening. So then our great country decided, well, okay, let's send Iraq, a bunch more weapons, and the same thing happened again. And this has happened several times now. ISIS has so many American-made weapons right now that this news article is showing that ISIS is actually trying to sell these weapons on Facebook, because they have a surplus. Now they're just trying to make some money off of them because they have so much. So this is some of that spin that I'm talking about. That like we'll hear about some of the stuff that's going on, but like, we're never shown how these people are fighting. What both sides are fighting with our weapons. We're funding both sides of the war like we always do.
Yep, because it makes money.
Yeah. Nice buddy.
It's a money-making scheme. I mean, we've been feeding them weapons for decades, and it's not like we didn't know it was going to happen before.
Right.
It happened. It's happened, and it will continue to happen because the government makes money that way. But really, they don't stand a chance. We give them our broken-ass weapons that we don't want to use anymore. Because they're outdated.
Actually, a lot of them, like when we left Iraq, we just determined that it was too costly to bring them back home, so we just basically packed up and left them all there.
What though?
What?
The weapons really don't matter though. Guys in this internet age. You know what I mean? Because that's when it comes down to money, it comes down to finances. That's where people have always attacked from day one. Get them where it hurts. That's the fight.
And what hurts them here? Like you're talking about like the Iraqi finances?
No, I'm just saying like a lot of this stuff like they probably use the internet in ways that we haven't even really found out yet. You know what I mean? And it's not about the guns. You can have as many guns as you want. When you can drop a bomb on someone from fucking miles away, it doesn't matter how many guns you got. It really doesn't in this day and age. Yeah, if we're fighting in our neighborhoods or I'm defending my house, it matters the amount of guns I have. It doesn't matter when it comes down to it, is what I'm saying in this day and age. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying let them have the fucking shit. They can't cross the ocean anyways.
No,
I mean,
but
what,
I mean,
you know,
we're kind of
let them kill themselves.
Well, oh, there goes Jake again. But the thing is,
He hated that.
just couldn't put up with it anymore. He's stomping his feet right now. So
no, but all I'm saying is, like, we talk about guns and weapons and stuff. Yeah, people in the States, we have a weapon problem in America. Okay, but I really could care less about anybody overseas when it comes to guns. It's fucking guns, man. We got guns. We got more guns than anybody, and that's fucking citizens, and I'm not talking to military. That's not the problem.
But when they wind up with guns and they start shooting people, then the U.S., feels the need to.
No, it's to control us, dude. It's actually to control us. They can go, dude. We know. I'm telling you right now, the government knows. You've seen the videos of these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen them, right? Celebrating, shooting their guns in the air.
Yeah.
So, not smart. Okay? I don't care what anybody says. That's not smart. If you want to be taken serious, for one, I'm not doing that shit. Now, is it a cultural thing? It could be. But, dude, they're not the threat. A bunch of fucking whatever. What race are they? ISIS, is it just a jumbled mess? Okay.
Arabs.
So the fucking Arabs, all right. These Arabs with their fucking guns. I'm not scared of them. I mean, yeah, if it would be different if they were here. You know, they're not here. I'm not worried. I'm worried about people who control the money, the people who control all the internet shit, dude. That is
I get what you're saying.
That's the scary part.
Absolutely. I mean that's definitely, ISIS is a concern. I know
it's a concern, but what I'm saying is it's not really. It really isn't.
No, it's not. It's not the biggest story right now. It's not the biggest story.
Before it would get really bad in America, Americans would start taking out people of that culture fast, and it's scary, and it would happen. Yeah.
Now, I mean, as far as like, immigration of Muslims, I'm not exactly, a huge fan of that right now, but no, the ISIS fighters in Iraq and Syria, they're not the biggest concern to the United States right now.
It's the snakes in the suits.
Right.
It always is.
Absolutely.
It's always, man. The people who represent us are our worst enemies.
Well, you look at where this country's gone.
We're part of the machine, man.
Just in the last 50 years, I mean, it's a pretty gross difference from where we were back in, say, 1950, 1960.
Yeah, it was like America. It's been crooked forever, but it was just not as evident then.
Yeah, but there's a difference between normal crooked and like crazy, crazy.
Well, I think it's just gotten to a bigger scale because we've gotten bigger and who we are, American, and all that shit. Well, that shit was bullshit back then. You know what I mean? I fully believe anybody in control of anybody is fucking bullshit. I hate it.
Control breeds corruption, which is one reason why our Constitution demanded that there be checks and balances among the different branches of government,
right,
to prevent anyone from getting carried away. Now, the idea was that there would be several different interests policing one another. But what we have nowadays is, um, pretty much one large entity, the government, with its own interest, and then almost like like a proletariat, like a peasantry, working to keep the machine going. But
Yes,
but
yes.
it's no longer we the people.
No.
It's much more like you the peasants, you the workers, you the underlings. And to me, I mean, there's a saying that I've heard about France. I know France catches some slack, but I've heard it said that in America, people are afraid of the government, and in France, the government's afraid of the people. And to me, I like that. That's the way it should be.
I love that movie, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the movie. Actually, it's funny. I was talking to my wife a couple weeks back, and I said, like 3 of my favorite movies is Braveheart, The Patriot, and V for Vendetta. Like, why is all my favorite movies about killing the government?
What was the other one besides V?
The Patriot and Braveheart.
Yeah. Braveheart.
Oh, Braveheart.
I've liked that movie for so long, dude.
I know. I always have.
What the hell is Jake doing?
It's Arms.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Trying to get my computer up.
Any luck?
If I could remember the password to the main login screen.
Really, dude? Hey, try wooden nickel.
No, my batteries are dead in my keyboard.
Oh.
But I'll get it up and running. It's got to put my phone in the refrigerator for a little bit.
Okay.
So we should be good.
So, Jake, Arms. I need that noise every time I start to say something.
Okay.
What?
Rock. Lunchbox. You're gonna be our.
Arms. What do you see? What do you see this country is in the most need of right now?
Trump.
Really?
Because he's gonna burn, and then we gotta start over and take the best of all the countries and make it a civilized country where people aren't trying to secede from the Union because we didn't get our way, you little frickin' babies. We had to go to frickin' war that we didn't deserve because of you idiot. The least you could do is put up with the horrible president you get. We did.
All right, so it looks like we're going into states' rights next.
To an extent, though. To an extent, right? So in Utah, they want to sacrifice their 3rd child. Well, why the hell not? No, the federal government is necessary.
Oh.
The state should be. You can drink at 21. You can drink at 20.
Well, okay, so, but you're asking where do we draw the line between necessary federal control and, an overpowering oligarchy, like we have today, where, just a few years ago, the federal government was raiding these cannabis shops in California where, recreational marijuana was deemed legal and passed by law, and the DEA is saying no, we said it's not legal, and they're coming in and raiding it, because of, federal power. So, and I understand.
I see that change, though, just in the fact that now, as more states follow suit, the federal government is going to be forced to change, you know, to play along.
Yeah, but
Term limits. It's a solution. Term limits. Our federal government only has this overabundance of powers because we give it to them. The states can have longer term limits than the federal government.
or we could just scale back the power of the federal government like it was prior to the Civil War in the first place. I mean, the Civil War really was the turning point for the power of the federal government.
Yeah, but and it necessarily so. Or basically we'd be still having slaves down here.
No, I don't think we would, because every other civilized country managed to abolish slavery without war. You know, I don't think that we would still have slaves. I think that for the good things that Lincoln had going for him, I think that sending troops into the South to start a war over the state seceding, I think that was his biggest mistake. Now let's look at the South seceding from the Union. Okay, that's in principle nothing more than what the colonies did from England. But when the colonies secede from England, we're the good guys, but when the Confederacy secedes from the Union, they're the bad guys. But this is just because the Union won, so the bad guys lost.
You and me being polar opposite in all our political and views or whatnot, and who gets Florida? I have to move. I'm fine with the way it is. Who should move? The people that want to secede? Sure, leave. No one's forcing you to stay. But you don't get to basically say, oh, I'm glad the government built all this stuff.
No, the states themselves decided to secede.
Yeah, but that's okay. So Texas wants to secede.
Mm-hmm.
What about all the people in Texas that don't want to secede? Now they have to leave their homes.
Well, that's the collateral damage of being under.
And I say the government says, okay, anybody that doesn't want to be in Texas, leave, and then we make it the eighth wonder of the world, the giant sheet of fucking glass that covers from coast to coast, and then we can Chernobyl all over again,
Well,
just wipe out those stupid people that want to leave, and do they want the power grid? Do they want the power grid that the government implemented? Do they want? They're in floodwaters that the government pays to keep the waters at bay. Houston's underwater, technically, but they pump it all out. It's all in floodlands. Put a border between Oklahoma and Texas, and then let them deal with the Mexicans, And then once they start just shooting them, then the rest of the United States will come in and have to clean up the fucking mess, No, ship these people off. You don't want to be here, go. But you don't get a benefit from everything the government's done.
If the state of Texas itself decides that they want to secede, then that's not a group of people,
Well, how many people?
Because basically, any time you have government, you run it's not just a risk; it's a reality. There's going to be times where the government makes you do something against your will. That's just part of having a government,
Yeah.
So if the government decides we're going to secede, there's going to be people that don't want to do it, but they're not going to have a choice. They can leave Texas, but when the colonies decided that they wanted to secede, that was actually a difficult thing to pass. There was a lot of people that didn't want to do it. But guess what? Once the government decides to do it, now you have to if you want to stay here.
Well, since then we have electricity and medicine and a hell of a lot better democratic. It's the crooked people in the positions. The system of the people actually having a view and a vote is the best thing in the world. It's the first and the greatest concept ever. We just have bad people in those positions. The moment the government decided we can stay in as long as we want, and this is how much we're taking for our pay, they just took their power away, and everybody's like, oh, well, they probably deserve it. No, they don't do shit.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, and I for one would love to, stick around and fight it out and try to, change things and make them better, but not everybody's the same way. Some people are ready to leave the country. Some people already have. In some states, like Texas. I mean, threatening to leave the country is part of Texas culture. It's what they do. They do it every. If they haven't done it in a couple of years, they start to look for a reason to do it.
But basically, there's 300 million people in the world, in the United States.
Right, in the country, yeah.
In the country, I'll give Texas is even 10%. Not all those people are going to want to leave. So the people that want to be on their own can go and start up their own country somewhere else.
Where are you going to get land to start a new country?
It's not my problem. They're not taking it from me.
The right of every the right of every government is to establish its own independence. Now let's look.
There you go. So Texas will have to go to war. We do not have to hand them our property and hand them a built society and infrastructure where they got everything handed to them. They can't have their cake and eat it too.
Just because the fact that infrastructure was already built doesn't mean that it now forever belongs to the country, because the states oftentimes pay for the majority of their own infrastructure, except for Obama's handouts and all that.
And when other states have to put they need their bridges fixed, so we need this bill to pass, and they add this to it, and they add that to it, so they can get their shit for their state just so it'll pass. It's a game, and they wouldn't be able to do it without the rest of the country contributing to it.
See so the first definition of the word state was a country. It's a sovereign entity. Okay, so when the term when the term United States was first coined, okay, it was very similar to what we call in Europe the European Union. All right.
Yeah.
Britain left the European Union, no problem. It's its own country.
Wait.
And
You talking about Brexit?
yeah.
Yes, and they are idiots for doing so.
Why?
Basically, okay. Why did they ever join the Union after the war? Right?
Well,
Basically, it was the best thing for their country to actually all decide to work together for a better world, because the world is getting smaller and smaller.
Well, the European Union, wasn't that around the time of the development of the euro? Like, wasn't that kind of why the union was formed in the first place?
And so basically they could have a common currency that spread across the country.
Yeah, they thought they could keep the currency from fluctuating up and down a lot by
help stabilize the whole society over there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a good thing. And it sucks now that they're backing out, because other countries relied on that. We need these specific.
Uh-oh. Not good.
No.
Not good at all. That is a good mustache, though.
We got you. I'm just thinking of stuff while we do this, man. We got to get it more of an interview talk format. If we're going to, all three of us talk, because what we're going to do is we're going to talk over each other a lot. So we're going to actually have to have a host. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're going to have to bring up something and ask us to rebuttal it. And then you could talk about, like, eventually what, like, people see, like, what they text or chat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you can say, well, okay, this person brings this up.
Oh, wait, sorry, it's not Jake. Go ahead.
I'm listening to all the sound effects. Oh.
Where do you have all that at?
And effects. That's about right. That's all of them when they're clapping and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, the thing about Brexit, I was getting at, I don't know. I think Jake's probably coming back.
I don't know, dude. It's almost 3 fucking o'clock.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Here, why don't you jump offline?
Okay.